Hey everyone, welcome to thunderbaytrees.ca. My name is Jay, and today we're going to talk a little bit about aftercare of your trees after they've been planted. Now, this particular tree has been planted probably about a year and a half ago, I guess maybe even 2 years ago, might have been 2 autumns ago. And there's some things that need to be taken care of that actually should have been taken care of quite some time ago. Now, when trees are initially established, they're often staked, and in an urban setting, there's kind of 2 main reasons why somebody would want to stake a tree. One is in heavy winds, it would prevent the tree from moving, and as the roots are growing into the soil from the root ball or whatever, however it was initially brought in, that movement can hinder the root growth into the new soil. Secondly, also in an urban setting, is the stakes also act as kind of a, I don't know, like a psychological cue to tell people just to stay away, not to walk into it, and it helps. There have been studies done that actually show that when you do this, it keeps people away. There's always debate whether it's 2 stakes or 1, or 2 stakes or 1 or 2 or whatever. Typically, in most cases, 2 will suffice, 1 on each side of the tree. So let's go through a couple things here. Number 1, these bands need to come off because as the tree grows, it needs some wind action. After the roots get into the soil, physiologically, the tree needs to move because what it does, it helps strengthen it. It physiologically helps to strengthen and put on some girth in the actual tree stem, and wind helps stimulate that, so some movement is good. Also, as this tree grows, these are pretty tight. As the tree grows, it'll gain girth, and with that you can actually girdle the tree and it'll pinch itself off and potentially die. There's also a few things down below we'll take care of in a sec, but first let's just cut these up. So all I'm doing is just taking the burlap, or whatever this fiber is, and I'm just cutting it. It's there. And I have to admit, I cheated a bit, and I started those cuts off a little early, before I turned on the camera, just so I wouldn't be here all day. And there, now let's see what happens when you take this band off. Look at that, eh? You can actually see some of the groove of the fiber from the band that's starting to imprint on the branch. Also, you can see that there's also some of the bark is tissue starting to rub off on the actual band. Again, another not so good thing. So that's a little better. Now, as I was looking at this tree, here's another thing. Often when arborists or landscape companies feels like I'm going to be bombed by an airplane. When landscape companies are growing their stock, they'll often put tags on it. Another thing, take the tags off, and these tags can actually come off after the tree is planted. You don't have to wait a year for that. All along through here, there's those zip ties, and often in transportation, they put that there just to help prevent any damage while in transportation. But now, the issue though is, like, look how tight this is. I'm afraid that I might cut myself as I'm taking these bands off. It's not quite as tight as I thought, thankfully. Is there, and then see, look at this thing. Now the issue with this, there's a couple things. It's been shaded for probably 2 years, so now you open it up, it runs the risk of sun scald, the bark, so that can be an issue. Had it been taken off more early, less risk of that, but the alternative of leaving it on is worse. So we do that with the risk that it may get sun scald at some point. Also, that plastic barrier traps in water and can hold water and moisture right up against the branch of the tree. So again, that could help promote fungal growth and other kinds of issues as well. And then certainly the plastic, as that tree grows girth, it could girdle it, and the conductive tissue, the bark that moves water and nutrients up and down the tree, would be hindered and potentially reduce the vigor of the tree and potentially even kill it. So that's that there. We got some, looks like some sort of fiber cloth, probably to keep the weeds down. Again, that's fine there. See what else we got here. Oh, another thing too is a lot of, this is kind of in vogue with some arbor companies, is they put this plastic ring around. It goes down probably a couple inches, 2 or 3 inches. And there's a bit of debate with some arboriculture companies whether or not to use this black trim here. And the argument goes for using this is that it keeps grass away from the root zone, and grass and tree roots compete directly. So that's the reason why some people would argue that it helps prevent grass from moving over. However, this is quite deep, and what it also can do is hinder, as the roots are getting established, it can hinder and slow down the tree's roots from going into the broader landscape, into the lawn, and help get established. So I guess it depends on your philosophy. I prefer not to use these, but then you also get kind of grassy, weedy areas directly under the tree, which I'm not, it doesn't really bother me, but for some it does. This is certainly lower maintenance. If you have a property that you don't maintain often, or don't get to often, or an area in your backyard that you don't, want to spend a lot of time putting these in, and then you kind of can sort of half forget about it. So that's it. If you are planning to plant any trees, please ask your tree care professional or landscape design person after establishment to give you some information related to watering, related to aftercare when this stuff comes off, because time and time again people forget about the stakes and think that it's fine years and years later. In this case, this is 2 years. I've seen stuff that's been much longer than that, and the trees end up eventually dying. So till next time, my name is Jay with ThunderBayTrees.ca.